Is the housing market in the middle of a recession? Well, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, seems to think so. In more great news, the October job numbers show the highest level of job cuts in 22 years. So that only means bad news for the Southern California housing market. Not so fast. We're going to give you the context and perspective through actual and factual data, including single-family and multifamily sales numbers, median home price, and the market action index from Altos Research reports. It's time for the Southern California Housing Market Report. Taking a quick run through the California regional MLS numbers, starting with single-family condos and townhomes for the respective counties in Southern California. Looking at October, is going all the way back to 2018. The black line you see here, that's the mortgage interest rate. We were in the 3s and 2s, and then things changed in 2022, got close to 7 and went over 7. And at the same time that happened, we can see that the market was crushed. The number of properties that sold, that's the yellow line. Number of properties going under contract, that's the white line. That's buyer demand. New listings, that's seller supply. Hasn't been like it was pre-COVID or during COVID for a while, but things are improving from a standpoint of the number of sales. That's up year over year and up from the bottom, which was 2023 for sales. And then the number of properties going under contract, so buyer demand, that's up year over year and definitely higher than 2022, which was the bottom for buyer demand. New listings, nowhere near COVID or pre-COVID days, down year over year, and that's a small gap between pending sales and new listings. So it's tough out there if you're shopping. I can tell you right now, some buyers in North Tustin, there were 5 offers on a property and it went for over $100,000 over list price. So people are out there writing offers, and depending on the property, you may find that it's very competitive to get it locked up. Moving into Los Angeles, we're going to see the same tale. If you want to dive deeper, you're going to subscribe to my email newsletter and you're going to be able to take a look at these charts. But things have definitely improved in the housing market for the number of properties selling as compared to the bottom, which is 2022 and 2023, depending on the statistic and where you're looking. Riverside, same thing, record low number of pending sales back in 2022. Interest rates were high. It was a crazy time. San Bernardino, same trend. So we're down year over year for new listings, and we're up for pending sales. And sales, Ventura, you're always doing your own darn thing. Drop in pending sales, actually almost a record low in the number of properties going under contract in Ventura. San Diego, same trend. We had the increase year over year in the number of properties going under contract, a slight increase and a slight decrease in the number of new listings. That's what's going on single family. How about multifamily? One of the only places you're going to get the multifamily data, starting with Orange County. Again, black line shows mortgage interest rates. When mortgage interest rates go up, it's tougher for a property to pencil. Cash flow is reduced because it's going to debt service, and that's the environment we've been in. Huge spike in the number of new listings in Orange County, going back to more traditional years. But at the same time, we actually have a huge spike in the number of pending sales. So that is a record for the number of pending sales. We should have had that many pending sales back when mortgage interest rates were in the 2s and 3s, but we don't. So interesting to see how strong demand is in Orange County for multifamily. LA, a market where we have a lot of properties under the rent stabilization ordinance, which means that rents can only be raised about 3% a year. Those rent increases were frozen for several years during COVID. So we can see that the demand is up slightly, not where it was in 2021. See, that's what you do when mortgage interest rates are low. You lock it in. And those are typically going to be locked for 5 to 7 years. So 5+ units is typically going to be financing that's adjustable rate. You can get fixed rate financing for 1 to 4 and not have to worry about that. Numbers all over the place for Riverside. Supply up, not at a record high, but it's up, back to more normal years. Demand is up as well, and that's also back to more normal years. So we're seeing a difference in the multifamily and single family numbers. Single family still has a way to go before it goes back to normal numbers, but multifamily on some levels is hitting more normal numbers. And then we see San Bernardino numbers are lower for both inventory and number of properties going under contract. But the rest of SoCal we've seen so far has been moving along. Ventura, you don't even have that many multifamily properties, so not much we can see there. San Diego, another popular multifamily market. We can see inventory is down year over year, but still at a more normal level for new listings. And pending sales are up at normal levels. So I'm looking at 2018, 2019. If you got rid of some of the ups and downs in the middle and just compare 2019 to 2025, it would be almost identical. So things are back to normal for the most part in multifamily. In looking at the numbers, single family still got a ways to go. Median home price madness. Hope I didn't scare you with that one. Diving in, starting with single family, we're going to compare it to condos. Data's so nice you don't have to ask me twice to share it that way. First things first, looking at the respective counties, what happened month over month? Well, OC dropped. Not atypical. This is actually what happens this time of year. LA's down month over month. Riverside, we got a slight increase month over month for single family. How about year over year for median home price? OC, holy smokes, 4.2% year over year. That's an increase for sure. LA, 0, no increase. Riverside down 0.8%. Factor in inflation, that's a bigger drop. That's what's going on. Now we're starting to hit a ceiling as affordability continues to be squeezed for buyers. It's tougher for them to afford the big payments when you factor in interest rate and these prices. So we're definitely seeing a slower trend in the increase in median home price year over year. Now just looking at condos and townhomes for those same counties, and what do we see month over month? Pretty big drop in OC. We see an increase in LA month over month. In Riverside, we see an increase month over month. Again, typically not the time of year where we're going to see these increases, but hey, we're seeing them. Now, how about year over year? OC is down 1%. So while we had an increase for the single family numbers, the condo and townhouse numbers were down year over year. LA is also down. It was 0 for single family, but down 2.8%. Riverside's actually up almost 1%, so 0.9% increase year over year in condo and townhome median home price. Numbers all over the place. Hey, you weren't thinking about buying or selling in SoCal without reaching out to us first, were you? Moving next to San Bernardino, Ventura, San Diego, month over month for single family homes. We have a drop in San Diego's month over month, kind of a big turnaround in Ventura month over month. So going from 900 to 950, that's a pretty big jump. Now, there also are just fewer sales in Ventura because there's fewer properties. So we can see that that's going to make it easier to change the median home price when you have fewer sales. San Bernardino is flat, down slightly. Year over year, San Bernardino down 1.5%. Ventura up year over year, 1.7%. San Diego for single family homes down 3.4% year over year. Add in inflation and that's a drop. And finally, condo and townhome numbers. We've got a drop in San Diego month over month, drop in Ventura month over month, San Bernardino drop month over month. How did these numbers fare year over year? Not so well. San Bernardino, 4.9%, almost 5% drop year over year for condo townhomes. Ventura is down 3.2%, San Diego down 2.9%. So definite drops in the condo and townhome market in these respective counties. Got to keep tracking, where are things headed next? Well, let's look at Altos data. That's where we're headed next. Taking a quick run through the Altos Research reports. You know I love these. I know you love these. Make sure you're signed up. So nationally, what are we seeing? What's going on? We're going to look at the Market Action Index, which essentially is the absorption rate, showing you where the market is headed. When it is above 30, it's considered a seller's market. When it's below 30, it's considered a buyer's market under the Market Action Index from Altos Research report. And we can see nationally, like Scott Bessent was saying, that things are slowing. So this is becoming more and more of a buyer's market, and it continues to trend towards a buyer's market. It's the lowest it's been in the 5 years of data we have right here nationally, meaning this is the most buyer's market we've had in a long time. And Scott said it himself that there is a housing market recession. But what does that mean in SoCal? Well, let's start at California. In California, we can see that it was trending down. It's definitely at a lower spot than it's been, but it's starting to go the other way. And this is not the time of year where it goes the other way. If you look at these Diamonds, those are year-over-year data points. Other than 2021, and where it turned and started to go the other way, the rest of the years, typically what we can expect is that it's going to continue to go down. And then we'll get through the holidays and it'll become more of a seller's market when we get into the spring season. This is bucking the trend at the statewide level, but let's go to the county level. In fact, you could go to the city level if you want. Here's Orange County, and it has turned and it's starting to go the other way. It is lower than the 5 years of data we have here in the past, but it actually could return and pass some of these year-over-year numbers once we get further into the season. So an interesting fourth quarter. I've been talking about this. It turned into a buyer's market. We had this drop here, and it was getting scary for sellers, and then it turned. That's what we've been reporting on this channel. LA, it's turned, going the other way. Still more of a buyer's market's been in a while. Little flat here in Riverside, but still, it is better than it was a month ago. San Bernardino turning, very slowly, but turning. Ventura, even Ventura doing their own thing. That's turning. San Diego going up. Again, not supposed to do this time of year, other than this unusual time we had back during COVID. And one more will sneak in because we got the access to it. And how about San Francisco? It's all over the place, but it is actually better than it was a year ago. This is one of the better times in San Francisco, which is crazy. We were hearing all this bad news, so just snuck that one in for fun. Now that you've got that context and perspective for October, you're not going to want to miss this next video right here.